In this video, I will be doing an honest review on the Atom Audio T7V active studio monitors. People often ask me what monitors to buy, and so in order to help you out, I decided to make a few reviews of monitors I consider to be a good buy. But before we continue, I'd just like to give a shout out to our Patreons who help make these videos possible. Your support is very much appreciated. Choosing a pair of monitors that will work for you is one of the most important and difficult decisions you'll ever make. After all, this is a decision that will directly affect your mixing, so it's essential to have monitors that will give you a flat and true representation of your mix. To start off, I'll be focusing on entry-level monitors, and I'll start with the T7V from Atom Audio. Atom Audio is well known for their higher-end studio monitor lineup, but they've been kind of absent in the entry-level segment. The T7V and T5V are their entry-level monitors featuring 7 and 5-inch woofers. I've heard some good things about these monitors, so I reached out to Atom Audio, and they were kind enough to send me a pair to review. Now keep in mind that I asked for these myself. They didn't come to me. I just wanted to make that clear so that nobody thinks that there's any bias here. It takes time to get to know a pair of monitors, so I've been mixing on these for the past few months now in order to really get to know them. What you want is a monitor that will tell you exactly what your mix sounds like. Butt naked, so to speak, like Snapchat without a filter. Music should come out of your monitors exactly the way it comes out of your DAW, without any sugarcoating, and that's exactly what studio monitors are designed to do. A studio monitor will give you a flat frequency response, as opposed to hi-fi speakers, which will always temper the sound a little bit in order to sound better than the competition. That's why you should never use hi-fi speakers for mixing. The Atom Audio T7Vs are made to give you a flat and neutral frequency response. When you open the box, you'll get the standard accessories. Besides the monitor itself, there's a quick guide manual and a power cord. The first thing you'll notice with these monitors is that they simply look stunning. These will look good in any studio. The build quality feels solid, and the cabinet is acoustically optimized to reduce unwanted reflections with a beveled front panel. Here you'll find a 7-inch woofer and a 1.9-inch ribbon tweeter. The built-in amplifier delivers a solid 70 watts of power, and the frequency response is 39 to 25,000 Hz. The first thing you'll notice about this monitor is probably the ribbon tweeter. This is technology that has trickled down from their higher-end monitors, and is a big part of the reason why these monitors are so good. The ribbon tweeter offers superior surface area compared to a typical dome tweeter and can move air 4 times faster. Because the frequency range of this design is so fast, it ensures a totally flat response all the way up to 20 kHz and beyond. There isn't any power light in the front, nor is the logo lit, which is a bit of a letdown. There is a small green power light on the rear though, but how often do you check back there? This is by no means a deal breaker, but it would have been nice to have some kind of illumination on the front to let you know that they're on. There's no auto on-off feature either, like you find with the KRKs and some others. This is not a huge problem either, as many actually prefer to not have the auto on-off feature anyway, because sometimes it can turn off the monitors when you're listening at low volume, which can be quite annoying. On the back side, you'll also find the bass port. This means that you need to be careful not to place them too close to the rear wall, as this might induce unwanted amplification of the low end. Below that, you'll find the usual controls such as high and low filter, which will allow you to correct for just about any room. If you can't avoid placing close to the rear wall, then you can somewhat correct for that here. There's of course an on-off switch and a volume knob. I found it a little bit disappointing that the volume knob isn't notched, as this can make it a bit difficult to match the volumes perfectly. I just set mine to 50%, which is straight up, and left it there. In terms of inputs, you have balanced XLR, RCA, but no TRS connection. I always recommend using balanced XLR in order to avoid interference. Note that when you buy monitors, the signal cables, they're not included, so you'll have to buy those separately. This goes for all monitors. But what do they actually sound like? Well, one of the first things I noticed with these monitors was the extraordinary detail in the higher mids and in the high end. And I was able to hear things I normally only hear when using headphones. It's very difficult to describe how something sounds, and there's really no point of playing back this sound for you either because, the sound will eventually come out of your own speakers, so you won't be able to hear what these monitors actually sound like. I was really impressed by the clarity, and after a while, I all but forgot that these were entry-level monitors. This is no doubt thanks to that ribbon tweeter, which you'll normally only find in expensive higher-end monitors. I also noticed that I had far less ear fatigue when listening to these, even at higher volumes and over extended periods of time. The high-end can often be a bit tiresome to listen to in the long run on most monitors, but these just felt a lot more relaxed to listen to. This means that you can mix longer without having to take a break. At least I could. The low end is supposed to go as low as 39 Hz, and I'm sure that's correct, but they don't offer the same low-end rumble as the slightly larger HS8, for example, which has almost the same frequency response. The 7-inch woofer is a nice compromise which will work well in most small and medium-sized studios. I find that the 5-inch woofers that most people tend to go for are just too small and don't bring out those really low-end frequencies. And you'll need a subwoofer in order to hear what's really going on in the low end. These go much lower and should enable you to mix without a subwoofer. When we talk about woofer size, we always have to do a compromise. For example, if you want more bass, you'll need larger woofers. It's as simple as that. The problem is that as you go up in woofer size, you tend to lose clarity in the mid-range. Most Nearfield monitors are like this. They are two-way speakers, meaning that the woofer is essentially a full-tone speaker and not just a dedicated bass woofer. You'll therefore need to find a good balance between low-end and mid-range, and I think the T7V has succeeded nicely in that regard. When compared to the Yamaha HS8s, for example, I noticed that while the Yamahas provide a more robust low-end, but the mid and high range doesn't seem to be as clear as the T7Vs. Despite the fact that they are half the price. The 8-inch woofers will also typically be too large for most bedroom studios and should be reserved for larger rooms. This 7-inch monitor has a nicely balanced low end and therefore should work in most rooms. If you have a very small room, then you might want to go for the smaller 5-inch version instead, the T7V. To sum it all up, I was very impressed by the sound quality from these monitors. What impressed me the most was the clarity and detail in the mid and high end. I don't think I've heard such rich detail in any other entry-level monitor in this price range before. The low end is precise and goes low enough to allow you to work without a subwoofer. The low end felt perhaps a little bit lacking at times, but that could be because I'm used to working on the HS8s, which offer a more powerful bottom end. Some monitors, such as the KRKs of similar size, will tend to offer more powerful bottom end, but I've always felt that they were way too boomy and not providing 100% accurate representation of the low end in my mix. The atoms seem to represent the low end more truthfully, and it feels more balanced overall, and that's exactly what you need. At the end of the day, you want a monitor that gives you a flat frequency response which doesn't sugarcoat your mix in any way, not even in the low end. This is why studio monitors often sound boring compared to hi-fi speakers. And remember, that's a good thing. If you need to make fine adjustments and you want to hear everything that's going on in your mix, then you'll have a hard time finding a better monitor than these in this price range. I've used these with a lot of different mixes, ranging from orchestral to techno, and I'm really impressed the way they handle themselves regardless of the genre. The truth is that these sound just as good as monitors costing twice as much. I have no problem recommending these. If you'd like to check these out for yourself, then I'm adding the Amazon link to both the T5Vs and the T7Vs in the description below. I'm also adding some links to some balanced XLR cables as well. I hope you find this video helpful. As always, if there's any particular video you'd like us to make, or if you have a question, just let us know in the comments below. Also, make sure to check out the links below if you need feedback on your music, mixing, mastering, and so on. Thanks for watching.